Okay, so we're back at the Collingwood Children's Farm, and I'd like to introduce you to Rachel Freeman. And in one of the videos I said that Rach was a student of mine in the associate degree, and now she works at the Children's Farm.
Yep.
So Rachel, you're going to show us the orchard now.
Okay, so the orchard was David Holmgren, was it?
I think it was part of the David Holmgren design.
That's it, design. So there's the late orchard here, and then there's meant to be an early orchard over there. It was installed about 25 years ago. A lot of the trees are tired, haven't been looked after, haven't been maintained, but we are starting to change all that now. We've got horticulturists on staff. Basically, we've got a big weed problem here. We have also a weed problem from people letting things like amaranth go to seed for years.
Okay.
And just popping up and then going to seed and popping up and going to seed. So we've got that weed pressure as well as a really bad cooch problem.
Yeah, so I keep mentioning cooch to the students, Rach, and I just want to make sure, because everything has been taught remotely, that they really get why it's so bad. It's
just like,
yeah, that's a great
so
club.
wiry to get out. Also, you know, then you've got, like, I've got one piece, and now I've got like 4 new pieces that will grow.
That's scary seeing
you know,
do that.
It's like, okay, look, if we leave that in the ground when we weed, then we've got a whole nother issue.
Yeah.
It's so wiry to get out and fine, and it really forms this really tight, dense mat. Anyway, it's been let go here for a very long time without the resources to maintain it, and now we've got a huge problem. So over here you can see that without people on the farm at the moment, we're using sheep to do our work for us. So this was all flowers and random vegetables, nothing really productive, but more for education and engagement with the young farmers. But now I've got temporary fencing up, and I've got the sheep in here helping me do the weeding because I don't have enough time to do it myself.
So how exciting is that? How unusual, really, because this is like proper urban agriculture, isn't it, in the sense that you've got livestock incorporated in your system?
Yeah, but there is Simeon, the market gardener we have on staff here, has been teaching me about livestock and then the amount of time till you can grow vegetables there to harvest.
Okay.
So there's all these laws around that. So basically in this section, we are going to use a glyphosate treatment for the cooch because it is so bad, and it's underneath all the paths, and it is, we've tried everything else, and we've had corporate volunteers, 10 corporate volunteers with a staff member a week, and nothing is working. So this section here, after the sheep have cleared it out, then we're going to do 2 treatments of glyphosate, and then we're going to rip it all up and turn it into a market garden flower bed. At the sales that we've seen over the last 7-8 months of me working here, at the farmers market and at the farm gate stall we have once or twice a week, shows that the value of cut flowers is just as high as vegetables. And I don't want to grow vegetables in this area after we've used glyphosate. It's my personal view for a while.
Sure, that's fair.
Also the engagement with volunteers in the future. Having cut flowers is a beautiful thing. We use this area for venue hire. Venue hire, even though weddings are boring, brings in money that allows us to do all of our community engagement programs. So we need it looking beautiful.
So just looking at those young rams, I guess they were just headbutting. So, by the way, I'll just show everyone, there's literally it's really brown, but they're called black sheep.
Yeah. So
there's the black sheep in the family. Is this really, so this is going to be a permanent flower garden, or just during the pandemic?
No, but this is the plan.
Wow, no, this is great.
This is a very new plan, and one that everything here at the farm, because our resources are so low, we need to show revenue, community engagement, and low maintenance. Big long rows of flower garden would be far easier to maintain than random little ones with bricks around them that cooch can grow underneath. So
I hear you. I'm 100% on board. But that means no more. So will the trees come out eventually? Or?
The trees are a sensitive issue. These trees, in the last summer, were super not very productive at all.
Yep.
That could be for a few reasons. So there's not irrigation here. There never has been irrigation. Everything on the farm has been hand watered for 40 years, which is insane.
Yep.
We don't have the staff hours to do that. So it could be because of that. They've not been fertilised, they've not been looked after for many years, they've got heaps of pest pressure.
Yep.
These are mostly plums over here and
Yep.
prunes. So early orchard meaning that they're earliest in the season, late mean they're later in the season.
Yep.
So I want the young trees come winter when they're fully dormant. I want to try and transplant them and see how we go with that.
Yeah, and I guess.
But then you got to look at the value of transplanting a tree when you could buy a new one and hours put in.
Absolutely.
Everything here has to come down to.
And also just the fact that, I mean, any farm has to change and adapt and diversify according to the market, and
Yeah.
so I think it's great to have this sort of active thinking and planning, rather than just stick to the old ways for the sake of it.
Yeah.
It's
And I'd like to mention this, you know,
Yeah,
it's been
sure.
a long time. Like I've worked here for 8 or 9 months now.
Yeah.
So this has been a slow thought process, and watching it and observing it over
Yeah.
almost a full year and seeing what
Right.
it's used for, how it's used. So it's not rushing in with a plan, it's kind of slowly developing the best strategy.
Yeah.
Which
All right.
I find for my, like in my career, has been, I like to observe things for a long time before I implement a change.
which I think particularly with living dynamic landscapes, like anything planted essentially, is a really good philosophy. So
Yeah.
all right, well let's
Home garden beds.
yep.
So we've got these little home garden beds, which basically we call them the home garden beds. They were here before we got here.
Yep.
Completely. This is the only area we've had high weeding strategies in terms of I get a staff member every week to come down and weed, and we use this duck mulch. This is the duck bedding from the chicken pens and the duck pens.
Where does this come from out of interest?
I don't know, we get it delivered by a truckload of
Wow.
like chip for
Yep.
So these beds here are the size that you would expect in somebody's backyard. So eventually what we want to display is how people could grow food at home.
Yep.
In a small area. At the moment we haven't quite implemented that, but this is the future for this part, just so we have that engagement with teaching people.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. I'm keeping this camera as still as possible so people don't get dizzy at home.
This over here is
Yep.
our market garden. It hates me calling it a market garden
Okay.
because it's so small. But
Yep.
this was our first intervention on the farm. This had high weed pressure. It's also had high inputs from us over
Yep.
the last 12 months, and it has produced a lot of food. Simeon has spent his career developing like the best strategies for harvest per square metre, and he's taught me a lot. But basically this is the only irrigated section. We did a very simple system. We've just got a hose running up to a tap. It's not even in the ground, and
Okay.
somebody has to turn it on. So
Yeah.
that's the best we could do for the time. But you can see this kale here. This is the tallest kale I've ever seen. Highly managed. Each week we harvest kind of back to 7 or 8 leaves.
Yeah.
We keep the stems nice and free, so there's no kind of energy drawn down there, and less pest pressure as well. And also because it's so tall, it's really great for the kids when we have like you get little 4-year-olds coming up and they're seeing a kale plant that's as tall as them and they can pick one off. It's pretty fantastic.
They're remarkable looking plants, aren't they? What's the common name for that variety? Is it just
Cavalier Nero.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Because there is a dinosaur kale as well, isn't there?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Anyway,
There is.
probably.
We'll walk down here now.
Yep.
We've taken over one of the holding paddocks called tag paddock. So traditionally in the farming, it's where the animals go to get tagged because it's a small holding paddock that you can grab hold of an animal. It's also got a lock so you can walk them through that. But Simeon's just ripped this up in the last 3 weeks.
And we met Simeon last week.
Hi.
That's right, focused.
What's that tool, Sim?
This is a Teratech wheel hoe, or double wheel hoe, but I disassembled the other wheel. Kind of does the brunt space weeding work.
Yeah.
In walkways, and or sometimes we use it for bed.
So it's just slicing, right? The roots. Is that the principle?
Yeah.
Really?
We can adjust the angle of the blade, and then we can also put, because it's offset, if I put on a different implement, same for tractors really.
Right.
I can put on a bar here, and then put some discs, or have a split here, and weed out the side of the row.
And who manufactures that?
This is a French company called Teratech.
Oh, it is Teratech, right? Of course.
But
who distributes them in Australia? I guess.
Activista has a whole bunch of market garden tools that you can get. But I had to troll through the internet to try and find, and then he came and built his business a year after I bought all my tools, importing them from the US. So yeah, that's a pretty good supplier down in Tassie.
Yeah. I think that guy, a Burnley student, I think Pat, he did, so I met that guy, right, interesting. Anyway, look at this, is really exciting. So what crop have you got in over there?
So these are both daikons on the side. I was interested in like a tillage radish / daikon is a culturally probably acceptable crop to eat. I'd never done it before. We seed it with a direct seeder, Jang seeder. And I wanted something to protect weeds coming in. And then we've got the beds of carrots. The germination's been iffy. And then we're going to put bok choy, which is just quick.
Yeah.
And quick to turn around and easy as transplants in the other beds. Can I show you some other nerdy weeding tools?
Yeah, please.
You talk for a second.
Okay. Anything else to say, Ray?
Well, we've got Melina here.
Oh, hi, Melina. Hi.
One of our staff members.
Yep.
It's fantastic. She's actually writing our education program, but she's on ground helping us in the garden. She's transplanting daikon, so like Sim said, he'd never done it before. We direct sowed. They were too close together because they get quite large, so he's Melina's spacing them out.
So actually lift and replant?
Yep.
Wow.
Normally you wouldn't do that. You'd kind of overseed, but we've got a little bit of
Why
time,
not? Yeah.
I wanted it to look nice.
A friend of mine who works... what was that?
I just like, there's pressure to make this look good.
Okay.
You know, we're trying new things, so I'm going to try and fulfill that with more attention.
What is it? The sizzle is as important as a sausage or something?
I'm not sure.
That's a poultry. Sorry, cut. I'll edit that out. That was a dumb comment. It won't be edited. Anyway.
So we're using, I like homies. They're so much better than little pickaxe because it's got a sharp blade transplanting, but then you can also scuffle hand if you need.
What do you call it?
HOMI.
Yeah, so this is the Green Harvest sell these, don't they?
Yeah, also FD Ryan Tools makes Australian.
I've always been about to buy one and never done it.
Oh, we should do it.
Yeah.
$30 from FD Ryan and it's handmade.
Yeah.
This is a wire weeder also from Activista.
Yeah.
It's a farm called Neversink Farm, which gets a bit of YouTube hits. But they've started creating their own tools. Wire weed is really great. The mic is still too low because you're not trying to, it's not a brute force tool. But all we need to do with the weeds at this stage is to really just knock them back on a sunny day. So it's obviously got a separation here, and so Melina's just come past, and it's just
that is just simple and ingenious, isn't it? And easy to use.
The same principle can be applied to this, or sometimes you get wild finger weeders on tractors and or on these machines. It costs a bit of money.
Is that a relatively recent concept, of the Chinese been doing that for 2,000 years or so?
Many more years than 2000, and we've now claimed it as a American geniuses.
Sure.
Anyway, but what's cool as well is this comes off. I can put 5 different hoe tools on.
That lock is amazing. That little socket system.
And then after we've done that direct cultivation on the row, we'll probably bring an oscillating hoe or something. That usually it should fit the spacing between here, so that you just do one pass.
Right.
And then you're just walking and scuffling that, and then the bigger blade on either side.
And so, look, obviously, weed pressure is such a killer when you have crops, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're annual cropping. So, I mean, if you've got the labour, that's great, and you've got these really nifty tools. But on a bigger scale, like the larger market garden over there. Or maybe we could I could come and talk to you about that later. We'll just, so...
One other thing here is that we're flame weeded. So, Australian labour cost is really high. So in terms of trying to apply some of the tools and information that you get from the States where labour's a lot cheaper, I think any labour-saving tool when it comes to weed.
You heard it here first, folks.
Pretty,
Cheap labour in America.
Oh,
no,
yeah,
no
just a
unions,
different
no
comparison.
penalty rates.
No,
I'm just.
But
I
in
mean, it
terms
is.
of cost of food,
No,
and
it's
things,
just true.
Mossy Wheeler also talks about it pretty well on a podcast, on the No Till podcast. But we planted the carrots, waited about 10 days, put a beetroot or a radish seed as an indicator seed, which is going to pop up a couple of days before the carrot. So the radish or the beetroot pops. Then we grab our flame weeder, single torch or 5 torch, whatever, blast it, kills the radish and or all the mini weeds that have popped up that are quicker than carrots.
Yep.
Carrot pops up, we get perfect germination without having weed pressure, which carrots don't like.
They definitely don't like it. And this is really relevant to the students in this class because we get them to sow carrots in the last week of February, first week of March, depending on the semester. And in the past, I've always, and that's my personal practice, really always over sow carrots, like quite heavy amounts of seed. We've cut back a bit in the last couple of years, just being a bit more, but actually I prefer the over sowing method because you get a bulk pushing of seed through the crust. And you know, you do have to thin and keep an eye on weeds. I don't think there's any way around it.
Like with that other tool that we showed, we then bring that on, and that'll kill some of the carrots also.
Sure.
But then
did you get, out of it, back to Rachel, did you get good carrots when you did the plot program?
Yeah, I did, and my thinning system was actually like an ongoing harvest system. So I kind of let them all grow up to a certain bulk, and then I would thin out and eat small carrots. And as the season went on, my carrots got bigger.
That's right.
So I could eat each week rather than having a big glut.
Yeah.
That's what I did when I was
no, I think that's good.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, we might...
head over to the other paddock.
I might just keep going with Rach and then come back in about...
Give us a hoy.
I'll give you a hoy. Okay, cool.